stat from Jack because I was like, wow, that is incredible. I can't even remember that. That's so random.
Makes sense.
And it turns out
fours, right?
it's because it wasn't right. They won at 11-7 and 12-6, and then they had 2 back-to-back 14-4s.
Okay.
But I was like, that's such an interesting random stat to remember, but unfortunately incorrect.
50% right.
50%
well
right.
done.
2-2.
Not bad.
Not bad. All right. FlyQuest,
Not
Golden
good either.
Guardians. Yeah, not great. He usually does better. Golden Guardians, FlyQuest, they're going in for the first tiebreaker here for the honor, the privilege of facing off against EG for 4th place.
So facing off, who gets to lose to Team Liquid?
Or potentially, who gets to upset Team
There we
Liquid.
go.
There you go.
That's the thinking we want to bring.
That's the glass half full. Plus, I really do think even if you end up taking the L against Team Liquid, it's actually a big deal to start in the upper bracket.
it's such a
Get
big
some more
deal.
experience for these players, allow them to have a series under their belt with fans in the studio, and really get warmed up.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that part. Again, we have a lot of players from these 3 teams specifically, which is why this tiebreaker is so interesting to kind of, I guess, work it out. If you knew you just joined in, why is the LCS still going? It's because we have 2 tiebreakers to play. So we have a mini 3-team bracket that's been seeded. EG at the top, GG in the middle. They get to choose side selection for this game. They chose blue, and then FlyQuest on the bottom. And they're basically going to play a very tiny tournament bracket, and you will be 4, 5, 6 based on where you finish. So this at least guarantees 5 if you win here.
Yep, exactly. So we'll be 5th. Not a massive difference, you know. Could change a little bit. The big one is really just winning the whole bracket, right? 4th is the big deal.
Yep.
Just like with 1, 2, you know, 1, 2, 3. First place is really the big deal because you dodge potentially. Well, in this case, TL gets to dodge C9 and 100 Thieves, who both look obviously a lot more threatening than we're expecting whoever to come out of this. But of course, playoffs can change things around. To catch up a little bit on the picks and the bans, a lot of jungle bans kind of targeted here towards Jose Dioto. They are going to ban out Zeri, but it's also Lee Sin and Viego, so he grabs the volley. So a lot of priority on volley today. It feels like a lot of early game power, and Golden Guardians responding with a Nocturne. So will they go heavy on the dive to go alongside it? Because I do think Nocturne can be quite strong, but I do feel like you need a dive buddy. It can't be done solo oftentimes, or it can look pretty rough.
I think Nautilus semi-fulfills the role. It's not quite the same, but definitely gives you some engage to help Nocturne kind of follow up with. I'm expecting something else like in the top or mid team here. There's plenty of different picks you could play, but Nautilus always a good pairing. Probably I think it's the most commonly first pick support
Feels like
right
it,
now,
for
certainly
sure.
in recent weeks.
Yeah.
Aphelios and Thresh, so a classic pairing from the earlier weeks, definitely still kicking around there. Afro Thresh, of course, pretty clutch if you're looking to win a couple tiebreakers here, get yourself that 4th spot.
Yeah, and we'll see. We'll see how he's going to be able to perform on it. You know, FlyQuest right now is light on hard engage. So I'm curious to see if they're actually going to draft, you know, anything from the soul lanes to kind of shore that up, or if they're just happy playing more of kind of like this pick style. There is, of course, a lot of hard engage between the Nocturne and the Nautilus over on Golden Guardian side. Thresh is more of a pick champ. I see Volley is kind of the same. Like, yeah, you can Q and run at them and flash, but really it's not that explosive. It's pretty obvious to see it coming. It's more of a threatening thing in the early laning phase, you know, if he comes in for a gank. Rye's going to get banned out. Blaze Olive, one of his favorites, will be taken off the table. And I'm curious to see if they're going to throw more bans in that direction. It's been a lot of focus on mid lane in this second phase. Blaze Olive obviously went to the Corki earlier. We had that Corki LeBlanc matchup. But of course, if Golden Guardians want to go towards Corki, they may have to pay a respect ban over towards the Veigar, because we don't know if FlyQuest is going to save Takoi's pick for last or Kumo. And Takoi has won both of his Veigar games and looked really good on them. And that was one of the matchups that people really do kind of like to play it in. So Corki actually is just going to get banned out straight up. So this is interesting. I wonder if it is going to be, you know, more of just like looking towards the control mages and kind of just more throwing bans in that direction, like something like a Victor.
Yeah, I mean, they know that Blaze Olive is almost assuredly going to be playing an AP threat, right?
Yeah.
Because you already have Nocturne and Jinx. Don't want to overload too much there for Golden Guardians. So he definitely has lent more to the scaling picks.
Yeah.
But LeBlanc getting banned as well means the mid pool is getting pinched heavily by both sides here.
Yeah.
And now it's interesting for FlyQuest. Do you want to take a mid laner now because 4 have been banned, or do you still want to give Takoi counterpick?
Yeah, I mean, I think they are just going to blind it, right? I think it makes the most sense at this point with so many banned out. You know, I think he's going to feeling more safe to go for it blind. It is interesting to see the LeBlanc ban. I mean, of Corki has been picked as an answer to LeBlanc twice today, so I understand why, but Takoi doesn't feel like a LeBlanc player. Like, he's not really that style of player. Orianna kind of much more in his wheelhouse. Victor going to be the answer, so we are kind of going down the control mage route. Golden Guardians earlier, did go very heavy towards just 5v5, drafting for that yesterday especially. They went with the Jinx Victor comp, I believe it was. So a blind Kennen, very interesting. Trying to preempt, I guess, what the expected pick would be from Kumo. Could go, if you want to go aggressive, toward things like the Aurelia, which can be great in that matchup. But of course, it does leave them, again, very light on hard engage. And if they want to try to throw something in, maybe they have a read that, like, hey, they're going to go something that is going to be good for the hard engage, and Kennen has a good matchup into that. I think hard engage is kind of necessary. Yep. So it will be the Ornn, and I like this much more for composition. I feel like a number of times this weekend in Super Week, we've seen people get baited into basically just picking for their matchup at the expense of the team composition. And I like that Kumo actually didn't go that route in this case. Like, is this a counter pick? No, not at all. But it rounds out the comp well, because Thresh and Volley work well as follow-up, and the Orianna Shockwave works well as follow-up. They do not work particularly well as primary engage. The Kennen also makes sense as the dive buddy here for the Nocturne, right? I talked about how they need that secondary guy to go into the backline with you. If you have Licorice on a flanking angle and Pridestalker goes in and those two connect at the same time, that is devastating for either of these backliners, Takoi or Johnson, because on the FlyQuest side, it's all about them. There's 4 threats on Golden Guardians.
Yep.
It's basically 2 on FlyQuest. You've got to keep those guys safe.
Certainly do. A lot of damage for the Golden Guardians, which I think, given how much scaling they played recently, I think this draft is a little bit more like, hey, Lost, you could do the insurance policy this game. He's on Jinx, obviously a big comfort pick for him. So I like the Golden Guardians are maybe, thinking, hey, we're pretty good at getting leads in early game. Maybe we just try and pick something that could be a bit more, cutthroat in the mid game. Just try and cut the lugs up from under FlyQuest and try and battle EG, who do get the pleasure of watching this game as well.
Yeah, absolutely. They get a little bit of extra scouting info here. But they have been going Helios in their early game. Yesterday, they went towards the Victor Jinx, like this exact kind of carry setup. So they've really been favoring scaling more and more. And we're seeing more teams doing that. It was also done against them by TL. So kind of since that game, they've seen the power of it. Trying to go top, potentially set up a little trap here, as a lot of times in these range versus melee matchups, people will actually go top to trinket ward this brush, and they'll try to get that set up so that Ornn cannot play in the side brush and Licorice can continue to harass him. In this case, of course, no one goes up there, so nothing really doing, but I do like that people are mixing it in more and more.
Definitely. Love to see some invades, even in a very tense game. Like, this is, you're in playoffs. That's good, right? Yep. You figure that part out, but you still have to navigate, where you finish. And as we've talked about at length, 4th is the coveted spot, and you don't get a chance to play for it if you can't win this best of 1 here. So I like the flag was still willing to be aggressive at level 1. It doesn't eventuate, but you love to see the old college try.
Yep, absolutely. It is worth noting that it is going to be cleanse on Lost. It's exhaust on Afro, so he's going much more defensive. I think this is absolutely the correct choice. Exhaust is so critical to have against champions like Kennen in particular, is wildly effective against Kennen. It really can be the difference between your backline just straight up dying or not. And we are going to see Conqueror here for Licorice. So Conqueror call start, obviously I'm still expecting him to go AP, but it'll be interesting to see if he goes a little bit more of a splash.
Whoa!
Oh, that cheated so much.
All right, Oleg is gotten in the code. Very nice hook there, as that's going to win them the level 1 trade very easily.
That's going to win them like every trade, because he's basically going to have to chug every potion now to go back to full here. At least 2 potions will have to be used. Afro takes 1. 2 have already been drank down there for Johnson. That is rough. I mean, that was like the maximum limit of bending it around. You have to give Oleg the credit for knowing how much the hook cheats, because it is ridiculous at times how much that ability cheats. It's up there with Bard. Like, Bard Q is for sure the ability that cheats the most, where it's like you're not even close to a wall. It just takes a left turn after hitting you and connects. You're just like, come on.
Bard Q's got like a little AI, I feel like. They just adjust the angle for you on the fly.
Remote-controlled meep on the fly.
Yeah, it feels like it.
Yep.
Alrighty. Takoi also losing a trade there. Blaze is doing very nice there. Usually Takoi is extremely well versed in these matchups. Lost gonna show a ton of respect with the cleanse there.
That's actually a really big deal. I'm not even sure he would have followed it in, but maybe he was just sweating that Volley was there. But now you bring Volley, you flash Flay, Lantern in the Volley, Volley flash stuns, Lost is dead. So that is the concern now for the Golden Guardians bot lane. But of course, mid lane, very concerning. Takoi's actually going to have to take a bad base. The wave, he's not going to be able to actually crash it and reset. It is slow pushing towards him. A Blazol could potentially cancel this with a laser if he wants to walk forward, but obviously doesn't know where he is recalling, so he's just working on shoving this in and taking a recall of his own. But Takoi will have a much worse buy on the recall. Goes back, just barely able to afford that Doran's ring. And on the other side, it's probably going to be, much more of like a two-piece buy, maybe boots plus Darkseal or something like that. We'll see how much exactly he can afford. Yep, there it is.
Nice calculation there. Does TP back as well, though. Maybe could have walked it in, but wave timing wasn't quite there and doesn't want to miss farm either because Takoi actually pulled the wave in mid.
Yep, and because it's not a cannon wave, I think it's more understandable. Yep. It is one of those things where it's like sometimes when you talk to pro players, I don't know, like I say I fully agree in all situations, but just to kind of give the thought process is that a lot of pro players really do highly value every bit of experience. And they're basically saying like, even if I only miss 2 to 3 melees, that can actually put me at a level break point where I could get punished later. So that's the thought process on some of these TPs.
I will say also in mid-lane matchups like this, level 6 is actually really important.
Yeah.
Like you barely ever get any kills unless you get level 6 and can find it all in. As S8D8, as you draw attention to it, is looking for something here. I don't know if Volley took it out of vision there. Yeah,
he showed. They question mark ping. They saw him. His little baby toe poked his furry feet in there. And now Takoi's moving down. They're actually going to go for potentially a 4-man dive.
Oh, I love this. They're going to force the flash early. Afro finds the hook, though. There's the first blood. So much damage as Johnson is going to get that extra goal.
More.
Here's Jose. They're going to try and dive all the way as Prize Soak is going to get out of there. And Takoi, no ulti, so no follow-up there for Fly.
Still nicely done. They get the kill. Afro does get hooked, but he flashes back, lands the hook of his own, pulls them in. They knock down that first blood, and it goes on to Johnson. That is huge. And Zoning lost off a lot of the CS as well here.
Nice here. Pride Stalker is playing the long game here on the Afro kill. Is going to give it over to Lost. That's very nice trade there for Golden Guardians.
Yeah, credit to Golden Guardians. It's
what is happening?
As this is very close. It gets a little bit dicey there. Both flashes down now in the top side. Wave is bad, unfortunately, for Kumo, and Licorice is going to stay around. Kumo's Resources champions kind of just get to hang out. They get to chill. But thankfully, Kumo should be able to TP back very safely and push this, fix this wave, because he knows Nocturne was bought, right? Nocturne actually stopped doing Krugs to flash and actually come and kill that. So there's almost no shot that Nocturne wasn't doing his Krugs there and clearing back up towards top side, so that means you have time.
This timing is really good. Blazol is like one creep away from 6. Jose here is going to cover the roam from Ole. So very nice awareness there for Fly to know that something may be brewing there, because mid-laners were just wasting their mana trying to kill each other.
I mean, Blaze Olive is actually clapping this 1v1.
Yeah, doing really well.
His early trading is a really big deal. We'll see how much he gets ahead. He has a lot of farm to actually pick up. Top lane as well is going to be really a pretty big farm advantage for Golden Guardians. Again, their early game is just great. They are consistently so good at this stage of the game. But Pride Stalker covering this potential dive. Takoi was missing from mid. They're going to move down here. The hook lands on Afro, but Afro just flashes back, lands a hook of his own, pulls him into the volley stun. They burst him down. Nicely done. And then it's just kind of just the follow-up play. Of course, they do end up getting away, but Afro stays around, and Pride Stalker waits a really long time, is able to kind of push him out. They knew he was in the area potentially, but just didn't think he was going to be looking for the play this aggressively. Afro does get caught. They had the Warden try, so they knew that Volibear wasn't there. And then this is, I'm assuming, the trade of flashes here. Probably looks for a flash knockup on that pillar, I'm assuming. Oh, just goes right in for it, so...
Licorice making it close. It didn't have 6.
Yeah, very close.
But everyone's in there. Good to not get knocked out by the empowered auto there. So Licorice respectfully flashed, knew he had to. Also, as he popped back in, FlyQuest did get the first Drake. It is a Cloud Drake, so FlyQuest are going to get the ball rolling on that here.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And if he got that brittle auto, he would have actually killed him. So he had the flash there. So good, respectful flash. But there is, funny enough, like kill potential in this matchup as Ornn, opposed 6. A volley, though, over the wall here.
Ole out of there. Does hook himself to safety. Pops the Riptide for a bit of extra slow.
6, man.
Yeah, level 6 Nocturne. This is the time to shine. Jose 6 as well, though. So a lot of jungle attention. No TP available anywhere, actually. All the soul winners have used theirs. So just going to be everyone backing away slowly.
Very scrappy stuff. So Licorice is in fact going more of a 1v1 build. So yes, he's going to go AP, but leeching Leer means he's going more for the sustain, not going to be going to rush towards Rocket Belt. That's kind of more the standard build. When you go this route with Conqueror, early leeching Leer, you have decent sustain and you can kind of more play for the side lane and poking out. you're still building an AP Mythic, so like your flank is fine, but I do think it is significantly weaker because you don't have that gap closer, and that can be something that really matters. So we're gonna have to track, can he continue to extend this advantage? Because so far, he's actually quite a lot ahead in the CS department, and building this build, he's trying to really kind of just exacerbate that, make it even more of a problem. We've seen Licorice against tanks in particular. If you think back to his Gnar game against Sion, he had like a 60-70 CS lead. He's hoping to recreate that.
Very nicely, Licorice actually 500 gold ahead in that matchup, as we see the gold. Just kind of coming back into his own. This was the player that, you know, was on Cloud9, a championship winning Cloud9, I might add, all that time ago. And he, at one point, felt like he kind of lost that as a player, bouncing back and forth between teams. He's actually on FlyQuest. And then kind of like, you know what? It's not working out for me. Off to the Golden Guardians he goes, and it looks like he's kind of revitalized his career in some ways.
Absolutely. I mean, it was tough, and he spoke about that. You know, it's the fact that you're going from a team that was semis at Worlds, as we'll see if they want to actually go for this play on Lost. Looks like Lost is too respectful.
Good work.
But yeah, I mean, he goes from being semis at Worlds, winning championships, and he was, like, not even debatably, he just was one of the, if not the best top laner, the top 2 in the league for a couple of years running. When you just look at like all pro and stuff, like that's just a fact. Like he had, you know, the best voting results in as far as that goes, and voted by the other pros and coaches, etc. So he went from being very dominant to basically joining a development team, and things changed a lot for him.
Lost does have cleanse, does have flash, is gonna flash, has to cleanse out of there. Jose can't keep going, and here's the counterplay. Ole, Ablaze Olive, no Nocturne, not in ulti range here, but Victor just gonna force them away here. Or try to.
Good bit of pressure. They are going to be able to get back. But again, you notice that farm advantage. Thankfully, they did get 1 kill for Lost off that earlier play onto Afro. But it's a good bit of pressure here from Jose, forcing both of those cooldowns without spending anything except one of their ultimates. Means he's going to be very vulnerable for the next couple of minutes. But yeah, it's just been a shift for Licorice, right? You move from a championship winning team to what was a kind of a development roster in FlyQuest. Now Golden Guardians looking kind of much more competitive again, turning in a strong split here. And I think he has had a bit of a revitalization, right? He's turned in some really strong laning performances. And really, I think people are starting to take note of him again in what is a very competitive field at the top level for top lane in the league.
Yeah, it's so competitive.
Like, it is internationally competitive. When you look at guys like Bubbo and Impact and Someday, as well as Summit obviously coming in, huge favorite for the MVP title this year. Licorice is having to reprove himself, and I think he's doing a great job of it.
Yeah, upstart Canadian. Making some waves.
Yeah, some really good Canadians in the league now.
That's true, actually. Team Canada is really OP. Actually,
it is. It's actually getting good. You know, we got JoJo, we got Licorice, we got Vulcan, we got all kinds of guys. Blaze Olive as well is Canadian. So a lot of Canadians in the league that are actually quite strong.
Love to see it. Licorice finished off the calls, cashed it in, giving Kumo a hard time here in the 1v1. So looking good on that front. Jose is in the area, but so is Pride Stalker. A dive is on the menu, not on this wave. That wave is way too thin. But Licorice is getting enough harass that there could be an angle here.
It is possible, but you have to be pretty confident that you're going to one-shot this guy. Because if you try to dive Ornn, it always is a free angle to knock you up because you are going in beside the tower, so he's going to get the knock up, and if you get knocked up and the ulti comes through for a secondary follow-up, like, you die. So you've got to make sure of your damage thresholds, and there could have potentially been one, and that's why Kumo also paid the respect, early base, fills back up the health, knows Nocturne could be up there, so you don't want to let yourself get too low. But Riftmaker comes through, sustained Mythic, looking for those long extended fights alongside that Conqueror. And it's going to be up to Licorice to continue playing inside and really making this build worthwhile, because it's just straight up worse for team fighting, so you got to make it work in the 1v1.
Yeah, Strikebreaker done as well for Pride Stalker, who hasn't clicked the ulti button just yet, not for lack of trying, has paid attention to the bottom side, which has gotten a ton of pressure for FlyQuest here in this early game, so Lost definitely down in CS as a result of FlyQuest 2v2/3v3 pressure.
And it is interesting because, you know, you really do want to see the proactive ultimates, and there hasn't been a lot of great angles for them, which I think is kind of the difficulty. But it does give you some concerns that if you're just going through this early game stage, yes, you have really good scaling. You have Jinx Victor, but they have Ornn, Orianna, and Aphelios. Like, they're no slouches either, right? So you do still want to get aggressive and make plays. You know, there is a lot of value just in the utility of the blind, basically, from that ulti, even late game. But I still think we want to see him be proactive, find some sort of angle of attack, get some deep vision, you know, maybe playing around this top side, even go into the enemy jungle, get some deep vision there. Even if the ultimate is just used to attack someone like Jose Dioto, that's fine, but you want to get it on cooldown. You want to start getting active on the map.
Right. Of note, as we'll hold that thought, because Jose's maybe ganking here in mid lane. The Blaze is going to see him, though. I mean, FlyQuest have 2 dragons, right? They're off-scaling in that direction. Is Infernal Dragon and Rift as a result this game. But there's only been 2 kills. It's been a fairly quiet early game, which makes sense given the stakes at play. However, Golden Guardians are up 1,400 gold. Yeah. Basically based off laning.
Yep. Jungle and top. That's really the difference here, is where a lot of their farm is coming through. Licorice has having a great 1v1 lane, trying to harass Kumo off of this farm here. Kumo, obviously, again, I talked about it in Champ Select, but he's picking for the comp. He's not picking for the matchup. So it is expected to fall a bit behind.
Yep.
But I think Licorice has gotten more than the expected result. And just been a power farming Nocturne here, really extending his advantage. And now, with the crash on bot side, they're going to be even further up in the gold lead, now 2.3k. Things looking really, really good for Golden Guardians, who was the projected pick for, I think everyone on the analyst desk had them actually going 2-0 and winning the bracket because they've been looking good.
Good flash from Pride Toga. Afro looking for the play, but can't quite nab it. I like the attempt, though, as FlyQuest still trying to be proactive together. Been a lot of attention towards the bottom side of the map, but Licorice, the plate smasher, up here in top, they're getting so much gold.
Yeah, I mean, he's 1,600 up now.
Oh, boy.
Plate to fall. He could potentially finish this off, next wave or even a little bit later. We'll see if they want to try to really hammer down. Because that bottom tower has like 1 auto. Top tower has a couple autos. You cash those in, you're 3k plus up, and you are looking really good. As Jose here, potentially looking for an angle on a Blaze Olive.
Good flash, very respectful. Have to show it there to the volley bet. Does get away.
But it means he is going to be down that summoner. But they haven't really been able to effectively punish a lot of the missing summoners, it feels like. So they need to make sure that they're being aggressive as well. It's like you don't want to just completely roll over. FlyQuest has got to try to play around their cooldowns. I do think there's the ability to try to make plays here, with things like the Ornn ulti on those aggressive moves. Nice little delay of the recall there. We've been seeing more and more of those kind of Jinx ultis when you're just saying, okay, there's not a fight until Dragon. All we're going to do is farm. Mess up someone's tempo. Use a scouting ultimate. Those things are totally fine.
Absolutely. And as the gold lead continues to grow more and more, we still haven't taken the first turret, by the way. Plates are off.
Very close.
Minutes.
In
TPs are in lead. But yeah, like I was going to say, like the lane lead they got was nice, but that wasn't enough to break the game open. This, getting closer.
Yeah.
You take those 2 turrets, now we're talking.
Yeah.
But how many early games have we seen from Golden Guardians that look this good or better?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, they're very, very strong laners. So it is a little bit dicey, though. 3.3k, and there's like 1 auto. Literally, I think 1 auto on the bottom tier 1. So you're looking at about a 4,000 gold lead with what is the expected collection of that.
That looks like 1 auto on my screen. 130 HP, maybe 2.
No, it's going to be more than 1 auto.
It's good enough. 1.5.
Maybe a really big auto. Maybe if they come back later.
Crit it! Can't crit the tower.
Oh, 1 auto. Calculated. I never doubted me.
Afro also getting hooked up there. Into stasis we go. Pride Stalker trying to make the first ulti a good one. Oh, that's Licorice! This looks disastrous on the table here for FlyQuest. No, it's a Blaze Olive. Oh, goodness, I wish it was the cannon. But still, Golden Guardians get the kill. It's good enough anyway.
Yeah, they get the kill. They do commit a fair bit to that bot side, but they got both the towers. They get the kill. Afro down his stopwatch now. 4.3k is the advantage here. And FlyQuest are trying to play for this soul. We'll see if they even have confidence to go for it now, because more and more of these fights are going the way of Golden Guardians. More and more of the pressure, for sure, is going their way as well. It's already 2 items for Licorice. That is like blazing fast because he took all the plates, because he started Cull, and because he has farmed almost perfectly here. He's just massively strong, so they get excited off the kill. Afro tries to sidestep, but because he's so close to the wall, there's not really the angle to do so. Buy some time here with the stopwatch, but in comes Nocturne, first ulti of the game. They get the kill. Olay flashes over the wall to safety. Johnson pushing them back very effectively with the red-white combo, but not enough to get a trade kill.
Yeah, we should have checked the minimap, but Licorice was in base. He was like a split second from taking a TP there, I think. Did hold it in case he was needed. Was not. A Blaze Olive commits it to make sure the play goes safe, and they do get the 1-0.
FlyQuest is behind, and they're committing to try to go for this dragon. Oh,
Flash burn. TP burn. They're all in. They're all in for the soul. They need this Infernal Drake.
Yeah, they're playing for it, and they're starting it up here. Johnson, red-white expires, so he's now a lot less powerful if they hard engage. Pride Stalker doesn't have his ulti, though, but Licorice does have flash and ult.
Oh, gonna try and steal it. Don't get it. Here's on ulti. FlyQuest gonna try and turn it back around. Decent ulti. No follow-up there. Licorice forced to flash defensively, though, from the Afro hook.
Yeah, I mean, Golden Guardians all show up, but didn't have the confidence to actually do anything. Like, they kind of just waffled on what they wanted to do there. A little bit of strafing back and forth. You know, Licorice did have Flash ulti, but because there's no Pride Stalker ult, because there's no Flash on Olay, I think he didn't have confidence to engage, which to me says, why even show up in the first place? Cross-map it. You could have already done this, Herald, pushed out the waves, and that's one of the things that I think is a very valid criticism of Golden Guardians is Kumo going to be able to just barely get away from that hook and go to safety. This is one of the things that can hurt them sometimes when they are playing from an advantage. They don't always have the correct direction in the game, the correct setups to really hammer home the advantages that they often get from really good mechanics and really good laning.
And that's why I said it. Golden Guardians have been in this position many times before, but the end of that sentence is that they have not won every game where they've got a good early game lead.
Absolutely not. I mean, you know, they have gotten leads in much more than half their games, which is how many they won. A little bit of a smite fight here, potentially. Down to 5 HP, steals it with the auto. But now they're on soul point. So if they get Infernal Soul, like, your gold lead is more than gone, right?
Yeah.
Like, it more than makes up for that. And Ornn is going to be hitting the upgrade timings here pretty soon. You know, he's going to be getting a couple more levels. He'll have his upgraded Forge Fire Cape, I believe it's called, coming in pretty soon. And then you start donating over those upgrades to the Ori, to the Aphelios. That comes through. You know, it's a good 1K gold, essentially, every time you do get another one of those. So as Ornn starts hitting those levels, it gets really scary. And it starts to feel like a must-win fight for Golden Guardians, I think, at this next Dragon.
And they're going to power up as much as they can before they get there. There is still a Herald available for Pride Stalker, so they might be able to take a bit more gold off the map and open up some space for themselves here. Obviously, the mid lane tower is the obvious point of attack, but 2 items done now for Lost. 2 been done for a while for Licorice, who's moving into maybe number 3, and Blaze Olive also looking to try and finish 2. But you got to do as much as you can, because you know this next 5v5 is the most important one.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Pride Stalker just looks like he wants to rush towards GA. You know, they're just trying to get in that kind of one-punch fight, right? He already has the BF, he has the stopwatch, so I'm assuming he's going to fully complete that GA. And really just go all in for that next fight. And we'll see if they can do it as they're trying to knock down another tier 1.
Oh, they're going for it. Actually, the die. The tower's still here, though. Olay a little too far forward, and Takoi gets that kill. Not even going to take the tower. Licorice threads the last order that they needed, but the damage on the backside is massive. Lost, able to take down that kill, but Jinx is so low. Kumo's ulti is going to miss. Licorice with the flank onto Johnson. They go for the exhaust. It's so clutch, just like Azael said in the start of the game, is now Jose Diota is going to shut down Pride Stalker, and Lost. There's just nothing left here. FlyQuest are doing so well to claw this game back.
Yeah, Takoi's on the chase here. He has the speed ups, but Lost is poking them back. They're at low health here. Kumo, can he get the angle?
Oh, a Blaze Olive as well. I've seen this before. 1v2, 1v3 around the Dragon Pit. You got to be careful, not the same champion, but Lost also has to get out of here. Can they escort Lost out safely? He's got cleanse, he's got flash. Lost is going to turn and fight. Now he's going to flash. But Takoi, he's got nothing left but QW. Just lands a parry. That slow should be enough as Lost. It's going to go down. Takoi finds the shutdown.
The long chase, they get him, but it's critical still that they bought that much time. Because if a Blaze Olive and Lost died instantly off that fight, I think that's Baron. And theoretically, you know, that is such a big advantage given away that it could even be game. But still, the position in the game now, I think it heavily favors FlyQuest when you're looking at this game state. They try to go in. I think Olay thought, all right, my carries are going to hit the tower. I'm going to engage as the tower dies. But no one was hitting the tower, unfortunately for them. Their carries got zoned back a bit. A lot of damage comes out. Lost makes it a good trade, though, with the ult. He gets the kill here on the side. Jose and Pride Stalker just scrapping it up. In comes Licorice. It's the Spellbook Exhaust from Kumo. Held on to that for a couple minutes. Absolutely destroyed the TP flanker. Excuse me, it's just the flank there from Licorice. Can't get anything done. And then in goes FlyQuest, picking up more and more kills. They are now hitting their 2-item power spikes at just the right timings here. Stopwatch is being bought up. This is a potentially season-deciding fight. You know, this is a really big deal. You're fighting for that 4th place spot. Multiple stopwatches have been purchased up. People want to be all ready to go. GA is done now for Pride Stalker, so he got the goal to complete it. You see stopwatch on Jose, stopwatch on Takoi. It's all down to execution. Golden Guardians got the first setup here, but there's no flash on their carries, and they're very vulnerable as a result.
This is going to be a big deal for both teams here. Again, FlyQuest have many shots at this Infernal Soul, so Golden Guardians
But they're in now.
will not be the first dance they have to do, but they are going to try and fight. They know they have to fight here.
They've got to track Licorice. That's the big X factor here. They don't have any eyes on him right now. Afro does have his exhaust, so Afro's trying to scout to the sides. They got to find out where is the cannon. And now they're warding out the flank, so they're trying to check off all the boxes. You see the wards below the Dragon Pit as well as above, so they now know where Licorice is. Someone's just got to mark him.
Oh! Afro with the big play! They're going to go back through as well. The Ornn ulti's not going to connect, but it finds 4 instead. Licorice now just forced to flash away.
And this should be there, so now you slowly move forward. There's no flash on Licorice. He shouldn't be able to find a way in.
Oh, trying to TP?
He could look for a TP flank towards mid and try to pincer them, but Jose's getting so low. He's actually forced to ult out of the pit. This is such a long fight, and now he's coming on the flank.
He's found his own flank. The TP is coming in hot. Ulti out from Ole, I believe. He's going to be delayed there as Johnson trying to fade defense, but here comes Licorice. The Dragon goes down. FlyQuest have got the soul and Licorice. The ulti's just not enough. They'll kill the volley, but there's just nothing else. It's only a 1-for-1.
Yeah, FlyQuest retreat with blinking health bars, but again, the exhaust, it just destroys the cannon. You can't get it done there. That is such low health bars. You have to wonder if that's a Protobelt cannon. Is that not dead members with the active plus the spell pen passive there? I think it might be. It's one of those slim margins fights. As he TPs back in, he bought up the stopwatch off of this initial play. FlyQuest, credit to them. So much patience, marking both sides. They ward out their flanks. And nice redirect here from Kuma on the ulti as Licorice goes into the stopwatch. He hits the ulti over to the other side. Jose, though, is getting picked away at by Lost and by Blaze Olive. These long-range rockets, the lasers coming through, and it's all down to the smite fight now. They're trying to focus down Jose, but they can't burst him in time. He gets the smite on the dragon there, securing soul, dies for it, but a worthy sacrifice as now FlyQuest secure the 22-minute soul thereabouts. That is massive for their chances in this game. The gold lead is dwindling for Golden Guardians. The scaling is kicking in, and the upgrades are going to be there for this Ornn. Forge Fire Crest is through.
Yep. I mean, like, at this point, the gold lead is lying to you. Golden Guardians are up 2,000 gold. That is the actual gold difference between the two teams. That is not the actual gold value of the Ornn items and this soul that FlyQuest have picked up. So Golden Guardians going to have to find a way to come back against a scaling Infernal sold up FlyQuest.
It's going to be tough, and it's going to be down to these flanks, down to these engages, which are very tough. You know, if exhaust isn't up, you have much more of a chance of being able to pull it off. But they're looking for Lost.
Oh, Kumo actually can't get it. Gets rooted in place as well, but there's no follow-up. Flash instead. Does come from Golden Guardians. They have to get out of there as FlyQuest are feeling a little frisky, but both teams know the Baron is very important. Lost though, gonna Gale Force out. The cleanse is there, but he's not dead just yet. Pride Stalker in the back line after the Ole ult. He's gonna try and take down Johnson, but Jose finally dies. Afro's low as well, but it's 2 kills barely for Golden Guardians.
This could be Baron. Jose just went on a solo trip there trying to kill Lost. I think he must have thought the cleanse was down. They knew they had the flash timer. Flash wasn't up, but cleanse was. And he follows through. He flash stuns him and then follows with the ulti. But who's going to follow up? No one is there to actually do so. He goes down, and now it's this 3-man squad that have to try to stop it. But Licorice is on the flank. This could be huge.
He found the perfect angle. Johnson going to be the target, but Johnson's going to flash it instead. He gets the first kill. Stasis out of Johnson, but the damage is still there. He does get stunned. They should get the kill. Cannon finally comes up. Trumps as Golden Guardians find 2 more.
Oh, that was such a big play from Golden Guardians. They get a couple kills, but they can't get the Baron critically for FlyQuest. They are pushed off as Jose has respawned and so has Afro. This game is getting so tense.
Woo.
And that just felt like too hyphy of a play for the moment from Jose. You know, maybe if Kumo can follow up, maybe if the shockwave is there for you, he sees this opportunity, but I have to think he didn't realize he had cleanse. The cleanse comes through, but he just follows, right? The ulti straight through, but Lost is always going to create that space. The lantern is there for retreat, but you're too low. You get finished off by Lost. He gets excited, which is going to give him the kill onto Afro as well in conjunction with that Victor ulti. And then this was a super aggressive play from Johnson. I think about the only thing he could do in this situation. When you see Licorice there, all right, he goes forward. He tries to get multiple kills here. Pride Stalker GA prop. He goes into stasis, so he basically fully avoided the cannon damage, but he gets rooted up there by the gravity field, knocked down. They do at least proc the GA, though, from Pride Stalker, which is big. So GA down for Pride Stalker next fight means he's much more vulnerable.
Absolutely. We got Void stuff done for Blaze Oliver, so we've got 3 items done for Lost, and there have been games this split, and he knows it as well, where Lost has had the gold, has had the game where he needs to be the aggressive carry and not delivered.
Yeah.
If there is ever a time to do it, it is here now in this game. They're going for Lost again. Lost does have the flash. Is going to avoid it though. The ulti just kind of whipping. Great lights out there for Pridestalker. Just defensively paranoying to prevent Kumo from knowing where to hit the thing.
Yep, exactly. It makes Kumo look a little bit silly, but as soon as the lights go out, you don't know which way they're juking. You don't have the info that we do in Spectator. So he makes the read. All right, they're going to juke this way. It's a full-on guess pretty much at that point. Licorice spotted on the flank here though. FlyQuest still in a good position as more of these Orin upgrades come through. First one given over to Ophelio, so he has the Typhoon. One more level, we're going to see the Luden's Tempest upgraded there for Tukoi. And they're just setting up for Elder. It's been all about dragons, all about neutral objectives really for FlyQuest. You can see the lights are out for Golden Guardians. They have no vision on the map. They still have a minute to fix this, but FlyQuest resetting now, you're gonna see a lot of pink wards, I expect, filling up the inventories as they get out on the map here and try to contest for vision.
It's going to be a very short feeling minute.
Oh yeah.
Not a lot of time in League of Legends. 45 seconds as we follow the Elder Dragon countdown. Licorice is in the side lane, does have his Zhonya's finished as well, looking for level 16.
Yeah, the resets
far away.
are kind of a little bit late for Golden Guardians. So even though we saw that FlyQuest reset, they didn't actually have that info. So they had no knowledge that they had reset on the map. So they didn't have a timer to clear any vision. Like, look at the mini map. They got nothing. They got no eyes in there. So it's really a scary spot for them to be in. And if they try to walk through a potential Thresh hook or something like that, it gets so dicey. They are able to spot out FlyQuest in that side brush who want to play for mid lane prio. You got to clear out this wave first. Licorice spotted though.
Licorice and Kumo doing battle. See if the Ripman can get it done, but FlyQuest is trying to cut them off. Ole finds the hook with the Zhonyas. He's going to be burnt by Licorice, and the rest of the team's coming in. Jose looks for the blast cone. I think he cancelled an order, but it might not matter. Licorice is just getting 1v1 by the Ornn. They're onto the Elder Dragon. Golden Guardians are going to be able to get the kill here, but they need to get back really quick.
Yeah, Kumo just overchased. He did his job. He pushed him out, but now they're going to try to look for a push camp.
They have it. Yeah, that's a beautiful camp. Don't even use the ulti out of Tukoi. Now Jose goes in. Lost needs to stay alive, but he is so far. Jose gonna be forced to flash out of there.
Yeah, Jose forced to flash out. He's healthy enough that they can stay around. He actually smites the scuttle there to get some health back. Licorice pushing out mid. He survived critically, so he did TP back. He's shoving mid, and FlyQuest are losing time here. We'll see if they want to start this up. They may try to really slow play it and wait for Kumo, because Kumo's up in 15 and he has his TP. So if I'm FlyQuest, I think I kind of just bail out, wait for him to respawn and TP back, because he'll get to the fight a lot faster than Ole. But instead, they're just going to start it up. They know there's no ulti on Licorice.
There's no ultis. It's just Tukoi still has the shockwave as well. He's going to keep them out here as best he can. He shockwaves at Blaze Olive. That's a big, big play. And now Kumo's back here. Blaze Olive's got no health to play with. Pridestalker's going for the steal. I think that's all they have.
He's gonna look, man. It's getting low, but he doesn't have good vision. He's got a guess.
Oh, Lost! He got in the vision. There he goes. No, it's Aphelios that gets it. Elder Dragon is delivered to FlyQuest.
And now that guarantees Baron, because you just lost your jungler. The other team has Elder. You can't fight. So all FlyQuest need to do, you fix the mid wave, you push this out, you go straight to Baron, use the Elder to capture that, and now you have Soul, Elder, and Baron. Everything you could possibly want to try to close out this game. Still, Golden Guardians are in the gold lead, but it means nothing, and they've spotted Licorice here.
He's completely caught. He pops the ulti, but the exhaust again from Afro is going to find the cannon, and the Elder Dragon's going to make that so easy.
Yeah, just really good job sussing out where Licorice would be. They had the spidey senses tingling, thought he would be looking for some sort of an angle. You know, he was trying to push out these waves, really buy some time for Golden Guardians, but every box has been checked here. Jose steps out of the pit, blocks the Jinx ulti before they go back into the pit to secure this. FlyQuest want to make sure that this game is theirs.
Certainly looking like it at this point. That gold lead's evaporated, and it wasn't real to begin with when Golden Guardians are still up 2,000 gold. And this is the full team credit. But Aphromoo teams in clutch situations, checking every box. That sounds pretty familiar.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's all up to Pridestalker here. He's got to try to go for a smite. Lost gets him some vision with the zap, which was nicely done. The zap here does actually reveal the dragon. So he spots it, and he's like, all right, go time. Goes in. I didn't even see it.
I had no idea.
It just died from 1100. I think both junglers smited and Aphelios autoed at the same time. And it was just, well, Aphelios got it. Like that one you can't even blame Pridestalker on, because there was never a time where it was below 900 health, right? It was always above 1,000, and it's 900 on the smite, so nothing can really get done there. A good attempt, but it means they lose Baron too because he's down. So FlyQuest on the push. They're 5-man mid. They probably need to push out a side lane because Jinx plus Victor, the wave clear is too good. I don't think you can go 5-man mid. You have to 1-4.
I think so too. Golden Guardians, any angle they will be given, they will take you. You have to think.
Yeah. And maybe FlyQuest just want to ram it down and try to dive, right? Like, that is the other option, is you can say, all right, yeah, you have good wave clear, but we'll just kill you. Because you do have volley to turn off the tower, and you have the Ornn engage, and they're trying to threaten. They're trying to push them back, and they're going to use that threat of the dive to take the towers.
I like that a lot. FlyQuest going to bust through mid. How much more, though? Minute 30 on the Baron. They are going to back away. So it is not an attempt through mid to try and end the game. They're going to go to bot lane now.
Yeah, but that means Elder expired. So they do still have the Baron, but there is possibilities now for Golden Guardians to potentially find some sort of a fight, but they are really up against it. Strongest member on their team by far is Lost. He's going to have to do a lot of the heavy lifting here. Of course, a Blaze Olive is out to 3 items as well. Like, all their carries are strong. But, I mean, Licorice has just been completely stymied by the exhaust. He hasn't been able to get anything done. Created a massive advantage for himself in the side lane. Didn't mean anything come team fight time. Their carries are steadily scaling up, but it's tough, man. It's really hard when you don't have a strong front line because Ornn and Volley and Thresh are creating this massive amount of space for the Orianna and for the Aphelios. And it's tough for a Blaze Olive and Lost to really get the damage done that they need.
Yep, and look at Kuma. Already knows. Exhaust at the ready. Afro's on cooldown.
Yeah.
Kuma's got you back.
Yeah, and that's smart stuff from him, and he's holding on to it. He's not just cycling through it. He's holding on to the exhaust because he knows it's critical, and they're trying to threaten to dive.
I love this. Kuma, though, going to get interrupted. Can't push it back. Olay, not that tanky. A Blaze Olive moves forward, but not enough damage. Lights are up, but Pride Soaker can't go back in. Olay so low. Shockwave is beautiful. Finds Lost as well. He's going to have to Gale Force out of there, but FlyQuest just using their HP bars to barrel down bottom lane.
Yeah, they're pushing through. Yes, they canceled the ultimate there from Kuma with a nice hope from Olay, but it cost them Olay's ultimate. It cost them Pride Stalker's ultimate. So they just barrel down. A great Shockwave from Decoy softens them up. They get 2 inhibs off the play, and they are getting so close to eliminating Golden Guardians in this little bracket and moving on to fight EG for 4th. Golden Guardians now need that miracle, need some sort of a huge play, but they are lacking on playmaking with this composition. It's really just about that Licorice flank. If he can find the perfect angle and somehow get a multi-man ultimate and Pride Sucker gets in at the same time, if you can kill a carry, you can win a fight because there's only the 2 real sources of damage. But I mean, GA is there and a stopwatch on Decoy. It's like he has double stasis.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be very tough, like almost impossible. But Licorice and Pride Sucker, they can disrupt the team enough for Golden Guardians carries to get the damage in. It is not, it's the whole team. Like, a Blaze Olive and Lost have to find a way to shoot people.
It's brutal because it's like, even if they go in the back line and get on both the carries, with GA on Johnson and double stasis on Decoy and double exhaust, you can't just hit frontline as Victor and Jinx.
No.
It won't actually work. You have to just try to go for a crazy angle where you find an opportunity as Victor to like flash in, laser ult, everything after the exhausts are used on Kennen and one-shot a carry. Like, that's the only way you win the game. You never win this game playing front to back.
Jose going in, but again, he's just so tanky. Shockwave's already there. Olay going to be caught out. Licorice trying to find the fight, but Decoy just eliminates that Nautilus.
And again, it's just all these defensive Nocturne ults. It seems like all it's been used for. They just can't find a way in. And it's always Pride Stalker turning out the lights when their team is threatened, but that reduces any sort of an opportunity for them to fight back afterwards. So now Olay is down. Elder's up in 15.
Oh, Afromove's so tricky, man. Just rising weight, hope someone takes the bait, and Licorice gonna get exhausted, almost gonna grab a kill here. Lost. Throws the ulti over, but they just can't save the cannon. A Blaze Olive even TPing in, but that might just end the game quicker. A Blaze Olive getting exhausted, goes into stasis, but there's no more damage. Golden Guardian's been picked apart by Afro's Thresh, and FlyQuest are gonna win tiebreaker number 1.
They're pushing for the end, looking for kills first.
Kuma's going in. This has to be the defense of your lives, Golden Guardians, but it is not on the table today. Lost still alive for now, but there's just nothing left to do. Johnson's gonna be the one to make the aggressive play and finish you off. And Pride Stalker back to base as FlyQuest are gonna take this game.
Massive wins for FlyQuest. Back-to-back wins here today. They will move on. They will fight EG for that upper bracket berth here.
Oh boy.
Such calm, collected play here from FlyQuest. The exhaust just absolutely reigning supreme. Playing for the late game, playing this beefy composition here. 3 frontliners, 2 carries, a strong performance here from FlyQuest. Again, Golden Guardians had the early game. They're so adept with their laning, creating early advantages. Liquor